It seems as though Malcolm Turnbull is now panicking and someone is saying get to the polls as soon as you can. Hence there seems to be no inclination by the government to have the Building and Construction Commission legislation passed by the Senate, and therefore its rejection will be a double dissolution trigger on July 2. And that will lead, of course, to advertisements everywhere, vote Liberal, vote Labor, but I'm talking about vote Liberal, we'll be told. And New South Wales will be critical. There are a stack of seats here at risk to the government. Malcolm Turnbull as Prime Minister is the number one Liberal in Australia and, of course, in New South Wales. The two previous Liberal Prime Ministers, Tony Abbott and John Howard, who fought manfully on the issue I'm about to address, were sons of the New South Wales Liberal Party, dyed in the wool, a bit of a different ilk from the current fellow. But I repeat what I've said many times, the Liberal Party in New South Wales is in disarray. No clear-minded person could possibly support it. Indeed, the word corrupt has many applications. But the behaviour of people behind the scenes in the New South Wales Liberal Party would not pass Royal Commission scrutiny, such as was applied to the union movement in the Dyson-Hayden Royal Commission. Let me give you an appalling example. I became aware that last night there was a general meeting of the Earlwood-Kingsgrove Young Liberal branch. It was called, and I was warned of this, for the purpose of seizing control of the branch to wage an internal war to gain power of that branch and control over pre-selections and everything else. It was orchestrated by and with the imprimatur of people you pay, parliamentarians. Scott Farlow, you've never heard of him, in the upper house in New South Wales. Lucy Wicks, whom Tony Abbott and others, including me, fought for at the last election. Never again. Never again. And the disgraceful, factionally riddled Alex Hawke, promoted by Malcolm Turnbull, in one of the safest Liberal seats in the country, nothing to offer except factional manipulation. Farlow, Wicks and Hawke, not representing you as they should be, you pay for them, but using time that you pay for, their staff whom you also pay for, to try and expand their factional power. The purpose of the meeting last night was to accept or reject new applications for membership after 10 names appeared on the membership list, and this is a metaphor of what's happening everywhere in Sydney. New names appeared on a membership list, names designed to stack the branch in support of the factional war that Farlow and Mrs Wicks and Alex Hawke were mounting. The membership forms were submitted by people seeking to roll the branch president. This is happening everywhere. Recruit the numbers. It's currently happening in Bronwyn Bishop's electorate. More of that later. These people on the membership list were given their orders by the factional trio, Scott Farlow, Lucy Wicks and Alex Hawke. My view is these three people should be today at least suspended from the Liberal Party, if not expelled. Branch membership is important because if you've got the support of the majority of members in a branch, you hold delegate positions which vote in internal party elections. Hearing all of this, I made sure I had people there to tell me chapter and verse what went on, because this somehow has to stop. Rank and file decent people are fed up with it. And taxpayers' money is involved. Taxpayers' money pays these people, Farlow, Wicks and Hawke, and their staff, who are abusing their positions. The chair of the meeting and the branch president has been in the party for 7 years. He's been president of the UTS Liberal Club, president of the State Electoral Conference of Canterbury. He's on the executive of the Sydney University Liberal Club, and I'm told he works hard for the party like many rank and file out there. A quiet man with a lot of integrity, and certainly not used to dealing with intimidation. I'm told he's a decent, good person, which you couldn't say of Farlow or Wicks or Hawke. The meeting was called for a chocolate cafe in Rockdale, in the president's apparent belief that it wouldn't be contentious. In the lead-up to the meeting, those parliamentarians were actively involved, and their staff members, calling young members to tell them they would have no future, that their careers would be ended if they voted to assist the branch president. That's the way they operate. Fear and intimidation. And these simple souls were told they'd be finished if they didn't toe the line. Other members, supportive of the president, were asked to skip the meeting to avoid controversy and to stay out, or they too would be targeted. It was a concerted campaign of bullying, aggression and intimidation which goes on every day in the Liberal Party in New South Wales. I learned of this yesterday. I wrote to Scott Farlow, a member of the New South Wales Upper House, advising him that I, for one, was watching and would have something to say. We're dealing with taxpayers' money here. But these people are brazen and defiant. So this bullying, aggression and intimidation all occurred before the meeting in an election year. The meeting devolved into an absolute shambles. A staff member for Scott Farlow, a woman by the name of Nomiky Panayiotakis, repeatedly interrupted the chair, handing slips of paper, directing people how to vote. Another staff member of Farlow, Sam Diamant, reportedly, these people are paid for by you, reportedly called branch members before the meeting. When a waitress at the cafe where the meeting was held asked Mr. Panayiotakis, Miss Panayiotakis, to move chairs, she bluntly refused and said they can't make her. The waitress awkwardly said, well, that's never happened before. A staff member for Alex Hawke, paid for by you, Dimitry Palmer, attended the meeting, reportedly stood over members and repeatedly refused to move to the observer section when asked by the chair. These people are not branch members. But, Mr. Palmer, you go on about the union movement. Hey, the union movement, cop, there's the union movement in kindergarten. This Mr. Palmer paced backwards and forwards, looking over the shoulder of branch members in an intimidatory way. But you see, Palmer, working for Hawke, who organises numbers for Malcolm Turnbull, Palmer's the flying squad director, responsible apparently for assisting on the campaign trail to win votes in marginal seats. You can't believe this. You couldn't make it up. How could anyone vote for these people? Palmer, a staff member paid for by you, a staff member for Hawke, the taxpayer you are, and here's this bloke barking orders at a branch meeting when he's not even a branch member. No connection, but he works for Hawke. The member for Mitchell. A staff member for Lucy Wicks, one Taylor Gramoski, taunted a female member for having no job. A bit like you, Lucy Wicks, after the next election, you'll have none. He tried to grab the attendance list from the hands of a female member. His sister then grabbed the form and ripped it up. The staff member for Lucy Wicks repeatedly refused to sit down. Two of his sisters voted as branch members, despite not even living in the neighbouring electorate. All this took nearly 20 minutes before the meeting could even be opened. Once opened, the president, chairing the meeting, this decent young man, was again ignored. So he adjourned the meeting to a future date in order to contain the chaos. And that's when these bullies, political staffers, reportedly all smirking, felt they'd achieved their end. The meeting didn't go ahead, but they didn't stop them, proving the fact that they thought they were going to win the night and have a brand new branch with a brand new administrative structure. They pulled out a folder with printed agendas and lists because they were expecting to be able to roll the president and create a branch where they had majority control and they had their agenda for the night all prepared. They are purported, I'm told, to open a new meeting. Farlow's staff member, this Miss Panayiotakis, who's a vice president of the branch, then purported to chair the new meeting. She purported to accept the list of stacked members. In short, a night of bullying and abuse of power, abuse of leadership and an abuse of taxpayers' money. These people are paid by you to represent you, and here they are playing their factional games to gain control, and it's a federal election year. This woman, Lucy Wicks, is in a marginal seat on the Central Coast. No one should vote for her. No one. Power brokers like Hawke and this Scott Farlow are not interested in you, just factional games. Last week, the Daily Telegraph reported the same Scott Farlow, New South Wales Upper House MP, sent an email to 550 state Liberal Council delegates. Farlow's paid for by you, the taxpayer. He sent an email to the elite voting bloc in the Liberal Party, reported in the Daily Telegraph, in which he accidentally included a form which pigeonholed each one of these into a faction. That's how they think. Factional terms. They see people in factional terms. They act in factional terms. Before he got into Parliament, in the Upper House, Farlow was a political staffer for Lucy Wicks. And these people are making the Liberal Party unelectable. Worse, they're destroying it. They trade assets like commodified assets that can be shifted from portfolio to portfolio, that can be given to factional sheep rather than talented individuals. And they push away, they alienate the intelligent, the independent thinkers and senior people within the party like Sinodinos. He was once president. Zimmerman, the federally elected member for North Sydney, and people questioned all of that. got there via the factions. Zimmerman is the president. They stand by and let this happen. Hope that people don't find out. And then they have the gall to ask people to vote for them when an election is called. And these people like Farlow and Wicks and Hawke demand absolute, unquestioning, factional allegiance and threaten to wipe anyone out who doesn't toe their line. I'm told that after the meeting, if you can call it that, the political staff has hit the phones. You're paying for every one of the calls to report to their bosses that they purportedly succeeded in following instructions. They gained nothing except forcing the adjournment of the meeting. They didn't get their way. The matter is now before head office. Where's Michael Baird? Where's Malcolm Turnbull? Is the Liberal Party going to go into an election with this behaviour, characteristic of the way they operate? I repeat, people like Scott Farlow, Lucy Wicks, Alex Hawke, Michael Photios, factional power brokers who bully and intimidate, should be expelled from the party.